Good evening, Lions and others. We're glad you're here, we hope. If you are here and you're able to comment, we'd love to have you comment on the chat portion over there. I'm here with Past District Governor Mindi Crabb from the Pinedale Lions Club, and this is the first of, I hope, many broadcasts to spotlight different clubs in Wyoming, and this cool platform will allow us to do that without anybody having to travel. So I think that's a lot of fun. Mindi, how are you this evening?
I'm great, Dave. How about you?
I'm good. I'm excited about this. I'm hoping lots of people will watch it and get a chance to see what you all do and maybe get excited and come up with some new ideas for their clubs. You had a video that you took last weekend. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that before we play it? I'll go ahead and play it while you talk.
Okay. Oops. Yeah, we were asked by another local nonprofit, the Friends of PAC, which stands for Pinedale Aquatic Center, if we would do a pancake breakfast for them for their new Midnight on the Mesa trail run relay race. And so we packed up our Lions Club trailers and went out to the desert and set up a pancake breakfast for the runners. They had 128 crazy people that ran from midnight till noon, and we served them breakfast at 7 a.m. Everything went really well. Everyone was appreciative. We actually had two of our Lions Club members that were participating in the relay. They both came by, but didn't help out, but that's okay. We had plenty of hands on deck for this one. It was different and unique and lots of fun. There's President Max walking by with his plate at a quiet time. And yeah, it was fun. We've got all the equipment and stuff to do an event like this. So it was cool. And to be able to partner with other nonprofits in the community is something that we really like to do. Kind of more bang for your buck when multiple organizations are working together.
Well, great. That's pretty cool. You said, how many people did you actually end up serving breakfast to? Do you know?
About 125.
And there was no charge for the breakfast, right?
No, the runners all had the breakfast included in their registration fee.
Cool.
And we just, some of the food was donated by our local Lakeside Lodge restaurant. And we put out a donation jar for those folks that there were kids, families that came to support the runners. So we put out a donation jar and probably just about covered our cost.
Cool.
And the Friends of PAC organization, we'll make sure that we don't lose any money on the event. So that's all we cared about.
And it was designed as a community service activity, not a fundraiser, right?
On our part, yes.
Right.
On their part, it's a fundraiser for their nonprofit.
And the aquatic center is the town swimming pool.
Right. Yeah. Large rec center that definitely needs additional funding these days.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Mindi, that's a great activity, and as our viewers are going to see in a few minutes, it's one of many that you guys do. But first, tell us about your club. How long has the Pinedale Lions been around?
This version of the Pinedale Lions Club, this incarnation, started in, I believe it was March of 1976. So that makes us 45 years old.
Was there a Pinedale Lions Club before that?
There was a Pinedale Lions Club back in the 1940s, and I don't have the exact dates of that club, but they did a lot of work in the early days of the community. They helped build the first clinic and had a warming shelter at the ice arena and all sorts of things like that. So they were very active in the 40s and 50s. And then I believe that they started a Big Piney Club, and then the Pinedale Club folded, and then Big Piney brought us back in 1976. Then we tried to restart a Big Piney Club about 8-9 years ago when you were district governor, Dave.
Right.
And then that didn't quite happen either. So we actually support both ends of the county from Pinedale.
Cool. Well, tell us about your membership. How many members do you have?
I had to look that up. We have 37. We have one brand new one that was in that video at the front of the serving line. John just joined us. 19 of them are retired. We have a wide age range at this point. Our youngest member is 30, but Lion Megan moved to Kemmerer for work. And I do believe she just got voted president of the Kemmerer Lions Club. So if Kemmerer isn't careful, we're going to call them a branch club because we send them a president and our youngest member. But we kind of have a lot of early retired, but quite a few of us are still working. So it's a pretty mixed group. We have 11 females out of that 37. So we're down a little bit on our females, but we've been running about a third female.
Are many of the females, are they married members of the club or couples?
We have 3 couples.
Okay. I was going to say, in our club, we have a couple of single gals who are members of our club, but I think we have 9 married couples as a part of our club. So plus a couple of single ladies. Okay. Let's see. Let's talk about major fundraisers. I have a picture here of a snowmobile. Maybe you can tell us about that.
Sure. Our club for, and I can't remember how many years we've been doing it, 40 some years, we've been raffling off the top of the line next upcoming year edition of the Polaris RMK snowmobile. One of the reasons for that is that the RMK Rocky Mountain King was designed right here in Pinedale. So we always raffle off one of those sleds, and that is our biggest fundraiser of the year. We do pay pretty much not wholesale, almost full retail for the sled, but it brings in around $12,000 a year once all the expenses are paid. So, and people in the community ask for the tickets. They wait for the raffle to occur. This year, despite COVID, we sold out all of our tickets almost 2 weeks prior, and that's the earliest we've ever sold out. We have never not sold out. We have sold over the past few years between 400 and 500 tickets for the sled.
Do you limit the number of tickets?
Yes. They know that there's only say 500 tickets sold at $50 a ticket. So it is a limited. Then we do, the drawing is always the first Saturday in December. And we do that as a reverse drawing, and we do it live. This last year, again, because of COVID, we couldn't have a large group in the room. Normally we serve refreshments and people come and spend a couple hours with us and watch the drawing. We actually ran it live on Facebook so that people could watch and be sure that everything was being done correctly. So yes, with a reverse drawing, the last ticket drawn is the winner. And we have a lot of folks who come every year and get excited about it and watch the drawing. And
it takes all afternoon, I suppose.
It takes a couple hours, depends on how fast I talk, because I'm usually reading off the tickets. But it takes a couple hours.
But that's a party.
Yeah. And we always have Lion Jim Washam makes wonderful chili, and we have sandwich fixings, and people sit around and wait for their number. And every once in a while I stop to see who still has tickets in their hands, or who hasn't been called yet. So, and
there's a prize for each ticket?
No, probably for about every 10 tickets.
Okay.
We do go around the community and get a donation of various other prizes. It might be an oil change. It might be a ball cap. Something. A stay at one of the hotels, something like that.
Great. That really sounds like a fun event. One of these days I'm going to make it up for that because I've heard a lot about it. What about this ice fishing derby?
Yeah, so come and bring your pole. That was a nice fish. This guy's got the magic touch too, because he's brought in the winning fish a couple different times.
Really?
So the Pinedale Lions Club inherited the ice fishing derby from the Pinedale Boat Club, which folded. The Boat Club was a 501c3 and had been putting on the derby for many years. I think the Lions Club might have started it before them, but regardless, Boat Club membership died, and they asked us to take over their assets, which you have to do when you fold a 501c3. So we were given all of their assets and their mailing list, and we had a lion that had been in the Boat Club, so he is the in charge of the ice fishing derby, and we have been running it for several years now. And that is almost as big a fundraiser as the snowmobile raffle. We have people from, we have around 250 this last year that came from Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, a few from Colorado, Montana. But it brings a lot of people to town for a 2-night stay and a 2-day event. And we have a Lakeside Lodge is up on the lake, and they're our host. So we have a place to be warm indoors and when we're not weighing fish outside.
And again, fundraiser. This is one
Fundraiser, big one, $12,000.
Wow. We're going to talk about how you spend your money in a few minutes, but I wanted to highlight the role your club played in the Roosevelt fire a couple of years ago. That was a huge undertaking. Tell us about it, please.
We were approached initially when the Roosevelt fire started, and then was obviously going to be a major situation. Our emergency managers reached out. They know that we are very good at volunteer management, and so they reached out initially for us to manage their list of people volunteering to host people or pets or that sort of thing and match people up. So we started out in that role, but there was another organization that was able to take that on. And what we found being on the incident command team was that there was a need for someone to manage donations. So people were starting to donate money, not just things. And it was determined after visiting with other organizations, including the Red Cross, that the only way to make sure that all of the funds that were donated to the community stayed back in the community was through the Lions Club. As we all know, Red Cross has some administrative costs associated with them. So we were able to check in with the Lions of Wyoming Foundation and manage the money that came in for that, work with the community to get the funds to the foundation, which would act as the 501c3. And then the funds came back from the foundation to the club, and we dispersed them utilizing a committee of community members who worked hard, because it's not easy to divvy up $450,000 among 28 families, I think is what it ended up being. More than almost double that lost their homes, but not all of those were primary residences. So we had it was a big undertaking, took a couple of years, a lot of hard work on the part of the foundation director, Dave Orr, as well, I will say, and thank you so much for all your hard work, because it's kind of a new thing. But we're actually finding that we get asked to do that more often these days. So financial management is something that Lions Clubs can do, and it helps. The governmental types don't want to touch money and can't, and so finding someone that can manage those resources as well as volunteers. We also did traffic control and things like that, but that was our primary use for the Roosevelt fire. And by doing that, our name was out everywhere, and we gained several members. Actually, we almost enough to start a branch club in Bondurant, which is where the fire was. And but those folks have stayed with us, and when there's other needs in that community, then they may not make all our meetings, but they're there for us. And that has been hugely helpful since then with several instances. So that time probably gained us 7 or 8 members, and most of those are still with us.
Great. Are you able to hear me? I'm playing with controls I haven't tried before.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a light bulb going out, so it's not my brain flickering, it's the light.
I recall it seems like you guys had to devise an application form, and you
Yeah.
set up a committee not just of Lions but of community members. So it
Right.
wasn't all the Lions making those decisions. I thought that was really a smart way to proceed. And
yeah, I did a bunch of research on that and reached out to a number of different organizations to look at the best way to handle that fund distribution. So we looked at best practices from Red Cross and other organizations that had handled fire money distribution, and our own state, Serve Wyoming, had handled fire money for Casper, and I'm a former commissioner of that organization. So I reached out to the staff there. They were hugely helpful to kind of talk about best practices, what to watch out for, and that sort of thing. And so, yes, we made sure that the committee included people from Bondurant, which is the community that was affected. But not everybody there wants to sit and make decisions for their neighbors. That's a really hard thing to do. So then we had folks from Pinedale, a few of us from the Lions Club, and others from the community, and then a couple of members from Jackson, people that had some interest in Bondurant, just to make it as fair as possible. And then my co-chair created a very good spreadsheet to kind of try to do as much as possible of comparing apples to apples on the applicants and their situations, whether they had insurance or not, how much it covered, how much of the home was lost, did they live there year round, all those sorts of things. We factored all of that in to try to make the distributions as even as possible. And then the money, came in over time. So we made 3 different distributions of funds.
Yeah. Might be worth mentioning, Foster Freeze donated a matching $100,000. And I think that stimulated a lot of giving in itself. But I see that he passed away just this year.
He did, yeah. Yes, he was very generous.
He was.
That was, as you said, it for one thing, it brought a lot of press to the situation, which which helped. But any kind of challenges like that are huge. So he said he would match our first 100,000, which didn't take long to get, and then he matched that and then went beyond. So he was very generous.
What surprised me was I recall that there was a volunteer fire department in California that sent a donation. There was a lady who had visited Pinedale, I think been there during the time of the fire, who lived in Florida, who sent, I think, $100. We had donations that came in from all over the country. It was astounding to me to see the response to that. And once again, congratulations to your club, because I know that was not only a lot of work, but it spread over a long period of time. So that's a great job that you guys did. Well, let's move forward and talk about some other things. You mentioned that the pancake breakfast that you did for the aquatic center was a partnership kind of a deal. You do some other partnerships too. I have a picture here of some people laying sod. Maybe you could tell us about that.
Yeah, there's the strong backs in the club. I
just deleted the picture. Duh. Nobody got a chance to see it.
The town of Pinedale reached out to us and asked if we had some folks that would be willing to help lay a truckload of sod that was coming in. Didn't have enough people to get it down in a timely manner, and you know how fragile sod is in our environment. So a bunch of the guys were able to take time off or were retired and got a whole section of sod laid at one end of the town, right next to our community cleanup sign, which is nice.
Yeah. Let's see, what else do we have? I have a picture of some masks.
So once again, the community kind of knows that if there's a need for volunteers, that they should call the Lions. And So we were contacted when the COVID situation was ramping up. And initially I was on the COVID response team for several months, the incident command team. We provided traffic control. We manned a hotline that the county created, and did various kinds of volunteer efforts. And one of the things that came up was we had a lot of ladies in the community that were making masks and gowns for the clinics initially, and then for the senior centers. After that need was met, these gals kept pulling more and more material out of their closets and sewing masks. And the Lions Club paid for some of the supplies for the masks and for the gowns. But we said, it seems like you guys have lost all your fundraisers. These ladies were with PEO and various quilting organizations and that sort of thing. We said, how about if those masks go out for sale to the public now that we have enough in the healthcare area, and people can buy them by donation, and then we will distribute the funds back to your nonprofits, your favorite nonprofits, so that the money that you're making is going back to your favorite charity. So once again, we did fund management. The masks were sold at various places around town for donation, and then we collected that money, figured out what the ladies' preferences were for where the funds went, and distributed that money back to other nonprofits in the community. We were one of those nonprofits because some of our Lions were sewing, but it was distributed all around the community to about 12 organizations.
Fantastic. That's really great. I have a picture, I think, of, let's see. Well, the picture I have is one of people picking up the highway. Could you tell us about how you help out with the town cleanup? And I'll try to find that picture.
Okay, sure. So we've had a 2-mile stretch of the highway cleanup for many years. We try to do that spring and fall, and then the town of Pinedale organizes, or someone in the town. Sometimes it's been the chamber, and right now it's Main Street Pinedale organization that organizes a community cleanup day, either in May or June. This year it was delayed because of weather to June. Community members come out and take a section of the town and clean up the highway or the streets. We traditionally are the ones that cook the lunch for all the volunteers. So we go out a week or two prior, clean our 2-mile stretch, and then are ready to serve a free lunch to the community members who come out to do the cleanup. So that's what we did again this year in conjunction with the Main Street Pinedale organization.
Well, you know what's happening? I have been hitting the delete button instead of the enlarge button. So I lost my picture of that. I tried to retrieve it again, but it's gone now. So, but anyway, the next thing on my list that I wanted to be sure and talk about was some of the events that you've got coming up in the near future.
Okay. So next up will be the big event of the year in Pinedale, and that's the Green River Rendezvous Days. Always the second weekend in July, so come on over. There's lots going on, and we will be in the parade on Saturday, and then we overnight cook slow roasted beef and serve the concessions at the at the pageant on Sunday. The pageant is a historical reenactment of the fur trade era, and it takes place up at the rodeo grounds on Sunday afternoon at 1. It has been going on for 89 years, I think, maybe 90, and it is a wonderful slice of history. There will be 100 and some cast members, not counting horses and mules, and we will we'll serve concessions for anyone that wants it, and we feed the cast. So we usually serve around 250 slow cooked roast beef, Bob's famous mystery beans, and salads and brownies to lots of folks from all over the world. And there's usually at least one or two lions who pop up in that crowd and say, "Hey, I'm a lion." So it's pretty cool. It is a community service. Our prices are very reasonable. We started doing this back when there were no options for a concessionaire. We don't try to compete with local businesses, but we're kind of a part of the rendezvous pageant tradition at this point. So the beef will be cooked on our grill all night long. There'll be lions manning the grill all night to make sure the propane doesn't go out. And we'll serve 250 plates of great food on Sunday of Green River Rendezvous.
And there's a regatta.
And there's a regatta. This is another event that we inherited from the Pinedale Boat Club. And it is a lot of fun. It's beautiful. Our Fremont Lake is just 3 miles above town, and it's 11 miles long. It's a beautiful glacially carved lake, up to 650 feet deep. Don't fall in, it's cold. But there will be 25, 30 sailboats in the regatta. It will be the second weekend in August. And it's a pretty thing. We'll be running the safety boats and helping with registration. And again, it headquarters out of Lakeside Lodge, who've become a wonderful partner for us in our various activities. Not a fundraiser. No money involved.
And a September half
August.
marathon. Oh, August is the half
14,
marathon?
50.
The half marathon's when?
Oh, the half marathon. I'm sorry. Half marathon will be September 18th this year. And that is another community service event. The half marathon committee handles the race details. We handle cooking the pork loin for a free community lunch that's provided. We pay for some of it, and the race committee gets sponsors for the rest of it. So we'll serve again about 250 people, 350 people, I'm not sure, a full pork loin lunch at the senior center. And it's open to everybody, not just the participants of the half marathon. We'll be cooking and serving. I will be wearing my hat as the announcer for the 11th year.
For the 11th year?
11th year as the announcer of the Pinedale Half Marathon.
And
maybe more, maybe 12.
Looks like you have a cook that's pretty consistent here. I've seen lots of pictures of him on your Facebook page.
Yes. So that would be our Lion Tiger. He is our longest serving member. Lion Tiger Jakowski has been a lion for 41 years. And I bet he's been cooking meat and taste testing regularly for that entire time. So we will actually be celebrating him. I doubt that he's watching this, so I can say that we've got a custom apron that we're going to be giving to him at the next club meeting just in time. It says Lion Tiger, King of the Grill, and we'll be presenting that to him at our next meeting just before that event.
And that's in October? The pancake breakfast for the airport open house?
Yeah, the airport. Well, yeah, normally the airport open house is at the end of August or early September. But this year, the Pinedale Airport is having a bunch of runway work done. So they're doing it October 2nd. That's going to be cold. But yes, Tiger will be flipping pancakes, I imagine.
I uploaded a couple of the thumbnails rather than the actual pictures. So there's there's some other projects that you support, but there's one in particular I wanted to be sure to well, let's go ahead. Diabetes testing supplies.
Yeah, that project started a number of years ago. I was the diabetes chair, and I was trying to come up with a way to have a diabetes testing event in the county. And I reached out to our public health nurse and said, how can we make this happen? What can Lions do to help? And they said, well, really, all we need is a machine. These A1C testing machines they're portable, but we don't have the funds to buy the machine. and we know how to use it, but we don't have one. And I said, well, how much does it cost? And went back to the club, and they said, oh yeah, let's buy it. So we bought them a portable A1C machine, which we donated to them. And then the rest of the agreement is that we will provide all of the supplies, the testing supplies for that. What's kind of evolved over time, our public health nurse takes it to both ends of the county each week, and they tell people that the testing supplies cost about $10 per visit. And if they'd like to donate and can, then they can cover the cost of the supplies. Otherwise, the Lions Club will. And so our health nurse kind of knows who can and can't provide that. And so we pay for about half of the testing supplies each month. There's about 1 a day test. About 30 a month is what averages in our community, maybe a little bit more. So we pay for about half of that testing supplies.
Great. How about vision, eyeglasses?
We obviously we collect and send off the recycling eyeglasses. We provide vision certificates for anyone in need. We work through our local DFS office for the screening of the eligibility. So we have our applications are at the DFS office. People go in and fill those out, and then we will send applicants a certificate worth up to $250 at any eye practitioner that they prefer, and that has always worked for us. We get reimbursements, or we provide reimbursements, but everybody takes them except Walmart.
Right. Scholarships?
And then we have partnered with the foundation on some surgeries as well. Just small community. We haven't had a lot of need.
Right. What about, you make donations to preschools as well, correct?
We do. Preschools are super important to communities, and we had been providing $1,000 a year to each of the 4 certified preschools. We upped that this last year to $2,000 because those preschools were trying to make it and had less funds available, and we are continuing that at the $2,000 level right now to support that critical service in our community.
And you provide scholarships?
High school scholarships, yes, we do. We do 2 high school scholarships. One is more there. Well, the first requirement or first request is that they provide any information about community service that they've done. Services are important, is what we watch for. But then one's more academic, and one is for someone going to a trade school, so that people aren't being left out of that scholarship pool. Then we also provide scholarship money to any graduating Leos from our Leo Club, which is kind of inactive right now. COVID shut us down, but we've got a potential new sponsor, and we're moving forward trying to regain our Leo Club.
And just a note, as far as I know, that's the only Leo Club in the state for many years, and it's critically important, as you said, to get a sponsor who's willing to really get into the program and get with the kids. Yeah. You before you had the kids meet at the library rather than to school, right?
We do it through the library. The school district was a little more challenging to work with for various reasons, and you can organize them either way. But the library has worked out well for us. Good.
How about this picture here?
Shelter Park is located at the edge of Pinedale. It's actually technically not in the town limits. It's in the county. And it was originally funded by a former Lion, by the last name of McMurray. But the agreement was that the Lions Club would continue to help provide resources for the upkeep of the park. That is actually our meeting location in the summertime now. We meet at the park at first and third Thursdays at 6 p.m. Come join us. And we do various projects out there. A couple years ago, we partnered with the Boy Scouts. There was a Boy Scout that was doing an Eagle Scout project, and we rebuilt a fence along one edge of that park. In other times, we go out and stain, and we just put in doggy doo boxes. This year, replaced a piece of that playground equipment. we kind of partner with the county because it's technically a county facility, but we assist with any kind of maintenance that we can.
And the last picture I have is a certificate being presented, and I have an ulterior motive in having you share this one.
Right. So one of the things that our club has been doing for a number of years now is we present each outgoing president with a Bronze Lion Award. The Bronze Lion is a way to help provide some funds to the Lions of Wyoming Foundation. And it gives some recognition to our outgoing president, thanks them for their time, and is also supporting the Lions of Wyoming Foundation, which we do in various ways. This particular year, I think we had not gotten, well, actually, several times now, we've given the recipient the option of having a plaque or not having a plaque. And so he chose not to have a plaque, and that saved the foundation a few dollars, which meant that more money was going to the foundation, and that's what we're all about. So this is past President John Gibson receiving his certificate from second Vice President Kelly Rotifer.
Appreciate that plug. I would just while we're on that topic, I want to make sure people realize that the foundation uses those donations. We have certain operating expenses, of course, but we usually do anywhere from 4 to 10 eye surgery assistances during the course of a year, and we partner with the Rocky Mountain Lions Eye Bank. The Rocky Mountain Lions Eye Bank actually provides 60% of the cost of the eye surgeries, and then the Lions of Wyoming Foundation splits the remaining cost with the local club. And so we're able to, for the local club, for about $800 can provide, well, the Medicare cost, which is what is paid, is about $4,000. The actual cost, if your insurance company was paying for it, would be about $12,000 with most my eye care providers. So a local club, by taking advantage of these partnerships, can do a $12,000 eye surgery for about $800. That's a double cataract surgery. Yeah.
Right. And I think that the foundation might have partnered with us. This has been a number of years back on,
Yeah.
I mean, we've done several of those, but we did a cochlear implant as well.
Yeah.
And I think there was some matching money from the foundation for that. And that young lady is so thrilled because it allowed her to go back to work again.
Yeah. You know, that's one of the joys of being the executive director of the foundation, has been that I've been able to actually be in personal contact with people who have, first of all, the joy of finding out that they can get an eye surgery at no cost, that there's no way they could have possibly afforded. But the result of that is that they can go back to work.
Yep.
And they can make a living for their families. I had a guy who worked at a dry cleaners for 25 years, and he needed cataract surgery, didn't have health insurance with his employer, couldn't afford it. He couldn't read the readouts on the machines in the dry cleaning establishment. And so he was getting to the place where he could no longer do his job without a magnifying glass. So, I mean, it just really is a life-changing event. And I'd like to, one of the things we do is publish the fact that local clubs do have access to some real serious money for eye surgeries. And the foundation will partner for other eye and vision and hearing related things as well.
Yeah.
Well, Mindi, this has been great. I don't know when you guys have time to have a job, given all the activities that you do. Having a big membership helps with that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. You know, and that kind of, that cycles a little bit, but we've had over 28 members for as long as I can remember. And Pinedale's a town of 2,000. So it can be done. There's actually, I think, a benefit to the smaller communities because there isn't as much competition for people's time, but also more importantly, people know where to look and where to ask for help and are just aware of what an organization is doing. So I think that does make a difference. We have, a lot of very active members. We have a few that can't make very many meetings and that sort of thing, but they help out when they can. And that's all you can do is get out there and help your community. So we serve.
and as I said before, with the eye surgeries, and when you help a local organization have a successful event that helps support their nonprofit's mission, there's some real satisfaction in that. And I think it comes back to roost when you do your own fundraisers. As you said, people look forward to those and ask, is it coming up? Can we be involved? I think it's a real wonderful thing about living in a smaller community. Cheyenne, we've got 3 Lions Clubs, and you'd be surprised the number of people I speak to who have never heard of Lions Club.
Yeah.
I'll bet you there aren't 8 people in Pinedale that haven't heard of the Lions Club. Well,
there might be some people living under a rock, Dave.
I know, but the point is that when you guys do something and you're partnered with so many organizations, you're very, very visible. And in some of our larger communities in Cheyenne and Casper and maybe Rock Springs and Rollins, the Lions Club isn't quite as visible. So maybe all the more reason to do more activities. Yeah. Community service kinds of things.
Yep.
Gosh, anything you'd like to say? I was hoping for a half an hour, but we've got about 40 minutes now. But anything you'd like to say in closing?
Nope. Just if you come to Rendezvous, look us up at the pageant and have a nice barbecue lunch.
And that's the 10th and 11th of July?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Mindi, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to share with us. And I really would like you to convey to your club my congratulations on behalf of the Lions of Wyoming. You guys do a marvelous job, and it's just amazing all the things that you're able to do. So congratulations to you guys. You're welcome. With that, I guess we'll sign off for the evening. I saw that we did have one live viewer, but at this time we don't. Hopefully, folks will take advantage of the link on YouTube Live to take a look at it. And anyway, we appreciate your time and your effort and taking the time to be with us tonight. So I guess we'll sign off.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Take care.
You. Say hi to all my Lion friends in Pinedale.
I'll do it. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.